Well, my next guest both say investors should ignore the short-term noise and focus on the long-term opportunity. Joining us from Bokeh Capital Partners is Kim Forrest, and here with me on set is Dan Ives of Wedbush. Great to have you both with me. Good to see you. Dan, I'm going to start with you, which is, even if we get the best-case scenario from here, if we get every single tariff removed and even some free trade deals that improve terms from where they were before, is Apple today worth less than it was 3 months ago because of the uncertainty that's arisen?
Yeah, I mean, I believe, even in a best case, numbers come down 5%, maybe even 7% in a best case, because of the uncertainty, because of the supply chain. You know, they're not going to obviously give guidance along with the rest of tech. And look, I think the biggest thing here is supply chain. You can't just flip it on, flip it off. And I think the reality here is we took a step back from the cliff this weekend. That's our view in terms of its best case relative to a bad situation. But for Apple, hearts and lungs of their supply chain are in Asia. I mean, they can move some to India, but the reality for them is that they are sort of on a, we'll call it, they're in a boat, middle of the ocean, flipped over, no life raft. And the reality is to get back to shore, it's going to take time. White House gave them time, like Steve talked about, but they will ultimately, clock will strike midnight at some point. They're going to have to figure this out.
Kim, you hold Apple, I think I'm right in saying. I mean, how have you reacted over the last couple of weeks? Because it's an impossible thing to trade around.
Sure. Well, I don't think you want to trade like you would drive a car if you're crazy, with the 100% on the gas, then 100% on the brakes. But I do think having exposure to Apple is important. It really is the communication device for the developed world, pretty much. And so it's not likely to get knocked out of position, unless there's, the $1,000 phone becomes a $5,000 phone. And by the way, people pay for these over time. Few people are really shelling out $1,000. You're paying it over time through your carrier. So that's something to, comprehend there. But I think this is a wake-up call for all tech companies and all companies in general, not to get over committed to one geography. I thought we learned this in COVID, right? Like, don't have one supplier, but here we are.
So, Dan, on the flip side, I mean, what about demand for Apple and other products? It's not just the sort of supply chain and the cost impact, but are we going to see, either because we have a recession or because consumers' confidence falls, lack of demand, or even more complexly, are we going to see something like the Tesla Musk effect on companies like Apple if countries around the world want to buy, buy British, I say, well, we're still going to have to buy Apple or Samsung phones because we don't make any. But there might be a global effect on demand, particularly in China.
And we've talked about, in China, the biggest worry here is that you get more and more domestic, Huawei over Apple, a BYD over Tesla. And that's, when you deal with these third rail issues, these are some of the ripple effects that could happen. But when it comes to demand, look, we've already set in motion a snowball that's going downhill, and that's the economy. And it's hard. You can't just stop that. I think our whole focus over the last week, and I think the weekend, White House took some step back from the cliff, however you want to call it, in terms of the exemptions, gives them time. But you're still playing with fire here because of the demand issue. But ultimately, when it comes to supply chain, the reality is, that's not going to change for years. I mean, it would take Apple, in our opinion, to cost $30 billion, 10% of the supply chain. That would take 3 years just to move that.